Do you know where I am? I am currently in Ytterstund, Denmark, hanging with the family, having myself a party. But more specifically, I'm in a Viking grave. Dead serious. Dead serious. You get it? Because it's a pun. But yeah, seriously. I am currently encroaching upon the grim earthen tomb of my honored ancestors to pay my respects to the people who had mastered the art of partying hard. And my, oh my, they were the masters, mighty fighting kings and queens of swinging the glass and kicking the ass. If there was a way to have a good time, the Danes knew how to do it. But that's not always how it was. Back in the 8th century, the state of Danish merrymaking was at an all-time low. The trading was weak, the nightlife was non-existent, and the national pastime was eating potatoes and looking sternly at the wall. Keenly aware of how fucking boring his country was, King Bjorgebjorn Bruhaha set out on a mystical quest to learn the art of fun-having. Bjorgebjorn went to the far corners of the earth and obtained the secrets of partying from all the dominant partying cultures. He learned drinking from the Irish, sex from the French, and fighting from the Russians, and brought it back to his own people, who were so grateful they burnt down a church in England, thus beginning the Age of Fun, or as most people know it, the Viking Age. But of course, all festivities must come to an end. Thanks to the intervention of a certain band of party poopers, the Age of Fun ended, and the Danes have since learned to party hard in a more subtle way, e.g. being open with their drinking and being the first country to legalize hardcore pornography. But there are a couple of guys out there that like to kick it old school, like the head-knocking Norsemen of old who rocked it better than anyone else. Who, you ask? Svartsot. Svartsot, translation Black Sickness, is a Viking Age reenactment that got taken way too far and started playing music. Beautiful, beautiful music. They are legit Viking brothers from Randers, Denmark, and with a folk metal twang and a hint of black metal, they sing about spirits, conflicts, and the fairer sex. Or as they themselves have said, beer, battles, and bitches. Look up. Look down. Where are you? You're not on a boat. You're still in a tomb. But you're being told about the band your man should sound like. Do you want a man that growls like a bear, smells like an ox, and tickles your eardrums with a mystical flute like some sort of hyper-masculine satyr? Of course you do. Forged from the remnants of a previous band, Skål, back in 2005, Svartsot carved its name into the Randers local scene with their first demo, Svunni. By virtue of being totally sweet, their demo got them entered into a competition for unsigned Danish metal bands, the Danish Metal Grand Prix. In true Hollywood fairy tale fashion, they won, and their prize was access to a kick-ass studio with which to produce a snazzy new demo. And so they made Tveniravne, a second demo so magnificent that it got them signed to, holy shit, Napalm Records. I really gotta get away from Napalm Records. Or is it Napalm Records that has to get away from me? Either way, I feel scared and violated and so alone. After being signed, Svartsot produced their first official album, and one of my personal favorites, Raven Saga, chock full of such timeless, unforgettable holiday favorites like Lovely Virgins, Song of Hate, and Forest Bitch. Oh, this is a good one. Skoven's Kaling, or Forest Bitch, if you will, is a song about the Slattepatten. The Slattepatten is a troll in Danish myth. It is magic, lives in the woods, and has saggy tits. Saggy tits so long and withered that she ties them around her waist like a belt. And legend has it that if a stalwart adventurer were to suck on said saggy titties and sample the breast milk, they would gain the strength of 10 men. I'm dead fucking serious. But then, should you really be surprised? I mean, Denmark is a party nation. This is the same country that thought up an afterlife with a lager-lactating goat and a bar fight that lasts until the end of time. So it's only natural that over there you can fuck a troll and get superpowers. And Svartsot's discography is full of stuff like this. Crazy-ass tales from Nordic history and mythology delightfully retold in song. Unfortunately, the band pulled a white wizard, and the entire lineup dissipated sometime after the first album, save for one Chris Fredriksson, who is the lead guitarist, head songwriter, heart, soul, and left testicle of this band. He's the head honcho of Svartsot, and it seems that everybody left for the same reasons as the guys in White Wizard. Creative differences. But since there's no sissy-pissy shit-slinging going on, I'm going to assume the parting was amiable. But, determined to continue his musical duties, Chris gathered up a whole new band of merry men and began recording the follow-up album, Mulmus Visa. When I first heard about them making a second album, I was psyched. I was so looking forward to it, because I fucking loved Raven Saga, and this new album was gonna tear me a six-pack of new assholes. And when it was released, it did. It certainly kicked ass and tore a new ass, but it just wasn't the same. Compare Mulmus Visa with Raven Saga. See what I mean? It's like two completely different bands. Svartsot 1 and Svartsot 2, Fast 2 Furious. Well, I suppose it's to be expected when 80% of the lineup changes, but oddly enough, that actually had little to do with it. Chris Fredriksson wrote all of the music for Mulmus Visa and almost all of the music for Raven Saga, meaning the change was pretty much his doing. Chris, you devilish goon, what have you done to the cool and mystical style of brutal folk metal that we fell in love with? Have you tied her to the train tracks, you mustache-twirling madman? The reason for this change in sound seems to be that Chris got tired of what he described as the tiresome one-dimensional qualities of Raven Saga and beefed up the harmonies and the instrumentation and shit. Yeah, I guess I can see how the old sound may not have been complex enough for some people, but it's a big leap to make, and something is lost in the transition. Besides, for all this trifling over musical intricacies, we're still singing about chicks and fighting. And talking about chicks and fighting. And Facebooking about chicks and fighting. I mean, how many dimensions can partying have? Are you trying to turn Svartsot into some mutant combination of Andrew WK and Dream Theater? Actually, that'd be pretty awesome. Keep it coming, you wonderful magic man. But damn it, I still miss the old Svartsot. It was like a Monomarth had a son, and that son went to college and enrolled in a fraternity owned by Moonsorrow. Now it just sounds like every other folk metal band, actually. Now don't get me wrong, I love Mulmus Visa. It's a great album. In fact, I use one of the songs as my ringtone. But if only there was a way to bridge the gap between the two Svartsots, the atmospherically brutal Svartsot and the complex jaunty Svartsot. If only. Oh wait! There is! Their new album, Maledictus Eris. It's bound to be a grim and jaunty trip, dripping with a familiar badass charm. Just look at this album cover. This has to be a throwback to their old school sound. Alright, I can dig it. What's this song about, anyway? A soldier coming home to find his family dead from plague. Well, I guess I can't really fault him for doing nothing but singing about chicks and fighting anymore. Maledictus Eris is a concept album about the Black Death and how it utterly decimated Denmark in the 14th century. Heavy. And Chris Fredriksson has further bolstered the sound of Svartsot as the compositions are now more intricate than ever. Now this is going to shock you, but I did not much care for Maledictus Eris. I found it to be cluttered, static, and half of the songs had the same drudging rhythm. It was certainly complex. I heard some neat arrangements in there, and there are some songs I do like, but overall it did very little to draw me in and keep my attention. Yep, for the first time, Svartsot Napalm Records in the entire country of Denmark has disappointed me. Also, stop following me, Napalm. It was cute at first, now it's just creepy. In case my pathetic bitching hasn't given me away already, I really miss the style of Raven Saga, because that's what got me into Svartsot in the first place. They had a sound that was strong and unique. It was death metal with flutes, and that drew me in. Now they just sound like a folk metal melting pot. Now it's entirely possible that I'm just being a gigantic weeping pussy, and that Svartsot's new sound is a lot better than the old one. Fair enough, the arrangements are certainly complex and interesting, but it's just not my cup of tea anymore. Doesn't do much for me emotionally. And it's not that the album's about the plague either. I have no problem with depressing subject matter. Well, speaking of, I'm reviewing funeral doom metal for my next pint. They're called Ahab, and god damn it, they're signed to Napalm Records. Jesus Christ, that label is fucking stalking me, I swear to God. First it was good with the music and the partying, then it gets weird with the rambling emails and the disjointed random phone calls. I need to get that restraining order. Sorry, where was I? Okay, usually during this part of the video I start taking digs at their music videos, but Svartsot doesn't actually have any music videos, so I'm kind of at a loss of what to do. Let's just look at their Facebook statuses. Those will keep us entertained for a while. I don't know who in the band is writing these, but bravo, good sir. Svartsot has always had a sense of humor, that's for sure. I mean, come on. Slatapatin. Therefore, hilarity. QED. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. For all of my ragging on their stylistic choices and all of that nonsense, Svartsot is a really great band. I can bicker about how Svartsot used to be cool, like some sort of panty-waist hipster all day, but in the end, I suppose bands just change. I might not like their new sound, but you might. Check out Maledictus Eris if you want some jaunty and complicated tunes about serious subject matter. Or, if you're a silly person like me who wants a fist-pumping, mug-swinging party anthem, check out Raven Saga. Or if you want a little of both, then do Mulmus Visa. Hell, even if you hate all their music, at least subscribe to their Facebook page. They're damned wacky, and no matter what your taste, they'll be able to entertain you, because it seems no matter how much they may change, the core principle of Svartsot will always stay the same. Have a good time, and by gum, they'll show you a good time.
You're fucking awesome!
Gotta love Svartsot. So good it's worth sitting in a Viking grave for. Why am I still here? I gotta get out of here. Here. Yeah. Oh, my knees. Oh. I'm Happy Viking, and you've just been served your recommended dosage of heavy metal. Rock on, and drink responsibly. Damn it! Napalm, stop calling me!